Damon PS2. Damon PS2. The first actual PlayStation 2 emulator available on Android devices. The Damon PS2 has been out now for quite a few years, and it's been an extremely rocky road the entire time the Damon PS2 has been out. But now here in 2020, I'm going to take a look at the Damon PS2 again and see exactly how much better, if at all, the Damon PS2 has gotten. I first purchased the Damon PS2 in early 2017, back when I had a Samsung Galaxy Note 5, and the Damon PS2 just would not work for it at all. I could not get it to load anything. Every single time I tried to even start a game on the Damon PS2, the entire thing would just crash. It just wouldn't work. The Damon PS2 requires a super powerful phone, which I don't really understand why it needs such a powerful phone, considering the PlayStation 2, when you think about it, had like a 129 megahertz processor with 12 megabytes of RAM and 4 megabytes of video RAM. And now we have these new devices that has 12 gigabytes of RAM with these massively super powerful processors that make the PlayStation 2 look like an Atari. And yet these newer phones just cannot handle the Damon PS2. Now in late 2018, I upgraded from the Note 5 to the Note 8, and I tried the Damon PS2 again. And while I got it to work, its frame rate was just abysmal. Every single game that I ever played got like 15 to 20 frames per second on all the games. So even though I could get it to load up, it just did not work right. But here we are now in 2020, and I finally upgraded to a Note 10 Plus. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Damon PS2 again. And I have to say, wow. A phone that can actually handle the Damon PS2. Now, as a note, before we get too far into this video, I want to let anybody know that if you're going to purchase the Damon PS2, which is $9.99 on the Google Play Store, which you can get a free trial version, but the free trial version is the very, very base model of the Damon PS2, so it doesn't come with all the updates. If your phone does not have a Snapdragon 855 and at least 12 gigabytes of RAM, the Damon PS2 is not going to work properly for your phone. But we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at the Damon PS2 and see what it offers now with all these new updates that they've done to it. If we go into our graphics settings, you'll notice that Damon PS2 now offers quite a bit of new updates to it. For starters, with the aspect ratio, instead of just having a stretch to screen mode, you can now actually put it in the 4:3 native PS2 ratio, which is really nice if you don't want to play it in really stretched out view. Not only that, but the Damon PS2 has also added rendering resolutions, which in your rendering resolution, you can go from 1 times to 7 times the PlayStation 2 resolution. The only problem with this is, even with the most super powerful phone out there, you could still only play in 240. Sometimes you could play in 480p. There's no way that any phone right now is going to hit the 720p or the 1080p or the 5 times resolution or the 2K resolution. You're just not going to hit it. Your phone is going to bog down so much, it's going to be practically unplayable. Now, the Damon PS2 used to offer advanced settings right in the main settings hub, but they've changed that now. Instead of going into your main settings and changing all your speeds and rendering options, they've actually now implemented it straight on top of an overlay in the game. I actually like having the ability to change all the speeds of the emulator right on top of the game that you're playing. So you don't have to save state, exit the game, go and change everything around, go back into the game just to find out that the tweak wasn't good. You could just pop down the overlay, change all the stuff that you need to, try it out instantly, and then change it again if you need to. The only problem that I have is I would really love to be able to play PlayStation 2 games in 1080p. That would be really nice. But the problem is, because the Damon PS2 requires like an advanced phone, you can't play any game over 240p. Rarely will you find a game that you can play at 480p, but there's gonna be a price. You're gonna take a frame rate hit for going into 480p. And it's extremely noticeable. Like when you go from 60 frames per second down to 50 frames per second, it slows down so much. Which is why I suggest, even with the most advanced powerful phones out there, just keep it in 240p. At least you can still play PlayStation 2 games on the go. So I tested out quite a few games while playing this. And most of the games that I played worked great. As long as they were in a low resolution, all the games worked like they were supposed to. Every great now and then I'd run into a game that didn't work at all. Like you load the game, everything looks great, start the game, and the animations just go psycho and stretch all over the screen. Or it's just black screen, doesn't work at all. So far this has only happened on 2 games that I've played. Number 1 was 007 Nightfire, and the other one was Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1. So far everything else that I've played has worked decently. But the main question is, can I actually suggest Damon PS2 to anyone? Yes and no. It still has so much work to be done to it. And it's baffling that these extremely powerful phones, even the Note 5 was 100 times more powerful than the PlayStation 2, yet it can't play it at all. And the Note 8 is extensively more powerful than the PlayStation 2, yet it plays it in 15 frames per second. And the Note 10 Plus is just so extremely advanced over the PlayStation 2, yet you can only play it in standard PlayStation 2 resolution. If you have a phone that has a Snapdragon 855 and at least 12 gigabytes of RAM, I say it's a good investment if you just want to play PlayStation 2 games on the go. I definitely suggest you to try out the free trial version to see if it's something that you would even like. Now, mind you, like I said before, the free trial version is not going to work nearly as good as the full paid version, as it doesn't get the constant updates like the full paid version does, but it will give you a basic insight of what the Damon PS2 is like. And then from then on, you can choose to pay $10 for the emulator or just pass it by. Me personally, I paid for it just because I personally think that the PlayStation 2 was one of the best consoles ever made, and I want an emulator for it, and right now Damon PS2 is the only way to do it. Maybe somebody will create a better PlayStation 2 emulator. Look at Rycast. Rycast is an emulator for the Dreamcast that is just absolute garbage. It would take a rocket scientist to get the thing to work, and even he would have problems trying to figure out how to fix everything on Rycast. And then somebody came out with Redream, which is an amazing Dreamcast emulator. It works flawlessly. But that's a video for another day. I give Damon PS2 a 7.5 out of 10 just because most of the games do work and they play at a decent 60 frames per second as long as you have a powerful enough phone to play it. They need to make it more available to more people, but I just don't see that happening. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have the Damon PS2, or let me know a game that you want to see that works on the Damon PS2, and I'll give it a try for you. Thank you for watching.